afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Grace Hollow Rabbitry. I am PJ, and today I'm going to show you what I do to do preventative health care on the young rabbits. Just like puppies and kittens, they need to be dewormed when they're younger, and then as needed when they're mature. So that's what I'm going to do today. And before I get started, I want to make two disclaimers. The first disclaimer is I am not a veterinarian. I do not have any veterinary medicine training at all, okay? What I do at my own risk after being advised by people that have raised rabbits for many years, and by doing my own research. I do not recommend that you follow my system just because it's what I do. I say do your own research, confirm, verify, and review with your own veterinarian, and make sure it's a program that is fitting for you and your herd. This is what I choose to do. I do it at my own risk, and I am aware most of my practices are not rabbit approved. So with that said, this is what I do, and I do it for my herd. I don't recommend anyone else does it without doing your research. My second disclaimer, no amount of preventative care is going to do any good if you don't keep your facility clean. You have to keep clean food, clean water, clean environment, and clean animals. If they're not clean, all this is pretty much useless, okay? Now, with those said, the biggest health concern in my experience, there's two, is bloat and ear mites. Okay, ear mites is very easily treatable, and it's very easily preventable. The second is bloat. Now, bloat is the deadliest, and as far as I know from my experience, the most dangerous thing in rabbits and the most deadly thing in rabbits. And there are two causes. The first and foremost is weaning enteritis, which is basically, from my understanding, when you wean a kid, you pull it off mom, and it's stressed. And rabbits chew when they're stressed, so they overeat, which is basically what causes weaning enteritis. When they overeat, they have a very sensitive digestive system, and they bloat. It causes gas. They cannot pass gas, and so they bloat. And when they are in discomfort, they won't eat or drink. So it's most of the time not necessarily the bloat that kills them, it's the dehydration. Because they just, when they're in pain, they don't eat and drink. That's just the way rabbits are. They just won't do it. And so they basically die of dehydration. Now, that's one cause. The second cause is coccidiosis, which is a parasite. And from my experience, and with talking with vets and other medical personnel, and more commonly, old-timers that's been raising rabbits longer than I've been walking this earth, who knows what they're talking about, the way I understand it. And coccidiosis, it's more common than what we would like, and you can treat for it, you can prevent it. But if you've ever had it one time in your barn, it is basically dang near impossible to get rid of. Now, it may be hidden, and you may not see it for years, become, a stressful time, coccidiosis does tend to come back and return. Just stress is a huge promoter of coccidiosis. So with those two things, well, the coccidiosis, of course, causes intestinal issues. They get gassy, they bloat, and again, the same situation as in weaning enteritis. They won't eat or drink when they're in discomfort, and they basically die of dehydration. Now, there is a lot more to explain about coccidiosis. There are two different kinds. One affects, I'm going to get it wrong just because. One affects the liver, and the other one affects the kidneys. One's more deadly than the other, but it still can cause bloat, and the bloat will cause them to lose their appetite. They won't eat or drink, and dehydration occurs. So with those three things in mind, ear mites, weaning enteritis, and coccidiosis, I have three things that I treat for, and then a routine deworming as well, just like with puppies and kitties. So here is what I do. Okay, now I go through this routine. Now I've already checked the rabbits over. I've already sexed them. And this is a good time to do weight charts if you want to chart their weights. You can use a permanent marker or something in their ear if you're not ready to tattoo. Or you can tattoo at a young age and do it that way. I usually don't tattoo until usually between 10 and 12 weeks. Now these guys, I think these are 6-week-olds. Anyway, they're either 6 or 10. Looking at them, I would say 6. Anyway, so routine deworming, I use ivermectin. Now I use ivermectin because I use the liquid, and yes, ivermectin is harsh, so you want to not overdose. I use the liquid form. I put 1 drop in each ear. Not only does that deworm for a multitude of different parasites, worms, it also treats and prevents ear mites, fur mites, and don't quote me, I use this on my dogs. I have for probably 10 years. When I had cats, I would use a drop or 2 on my cats, and I have not seen or noticed any adverse effects, and nor do I have a flea or tick problem. Does it treat flea and ticks? No. No. Package doesn't say so. Vet doesn't say so. I just say I use it for my dogs. My dogs don't have fleas and ticks. So, there you have it. I don't know. Is it safe for dogs? The package doesn't say so. Ask your vet. Don't ask me. I don't know. I just use it with my dogs, and they may be sick or they may be dying, and I don't know. But they don't have fleas and ticks. Alright, so yes, I use liquid ivermectin, 1 drop in each ear. That is to deworm. It is also to prevent ear mites, or if they happen to have ear mites at this age, which you hope they don't. If they do, be sure to check your parents. It will treat fur mites and ear mites as well. So, now this is not tested on rabbits, and so I am not going to disclose what I am injecting, but I use this for those that do their research. It would be easy to figure out. I use a small dose, and I'm using, I use 1 unit at 6 weeks, and I use 1.5 units at 10 weeks. This is to prevent weaning enteritis. Again, it is not approved for rabbits. It is actually very similar to goats. Goats are treated for, in layman's term, they call it overeating disease, and so they have an injection that is distributed to goats that helps prevent bloat in goats that overeat. This is what I use on my rabbits, a very, very small dose as a preventative. Now, the ones that I did use this on, none of them got bloat, none of them died, none of them got ill. Does it work? I don't know. I just have real good luck. That's all that is. So, yeah. Now, followed up with this. So we've done a preventative care for ear mites and fur mites. We've, in my opinion, done preventative care for weaning enteritis. Now, the last thing is coccidiosis. And I have Corid that I mix in their water, 1 tablespoon per gallon, and then I water the rabbits with that for a week. I do it for 7 days. At 6 weeks, and then I do it for 7 days again at 10 weeks, and then the treatment is done. And so that is what I do for preventative care. Good afternoon, everyone. Once again, welcome to Grace Hollow Rabbitry. I am PJ, and I don't think I said what today is. Today is Sunday. Today is giveaway day. Last week I announced I had reached 500 subscribers. I cannot say thank you enough. I can't tell you how much I appreciate you guys, ladies and gentlemen, and children, all alike. I know there are several youth that watches my channels because they love the rabbits. And then I know there's several of you, many of you followed me here from my old channel. Thank you. I appreciate you. Some of you call me up at home just to check in. I get emails from a lot of you. I get messages on Facebook. I truly think of most of you as friends, and some of you even as family, because you've been around talking and caring for me for years from the old channel. Anyway, I do appreciate you, and again, I would have liked to see more entries for the giveaway, but we have quite a few in here. So I'm home all by myself today. Daddy J's not here to draw, and well, Doolittle's here, but Doolittle is camera shy and does not care to be on video, so I'm gonna have to draw the names myself. So yeah, I've been busy today treating 6 and 10-week-old bunnies for health preventatives, and now it's time to do the drawing. So, alright, I'm just going to pick one and anyone. This one. We have Michelle Hirschfield. And Michelle says, let me find the email. I know she's here somewhere. There it is. Let me scan this and see what I can say. Okay, and Michelle says, I like all the videos that you do, rabbit, garden, chickens, dogs. And her question was, how did you get started with showing rabbits? Well, years ago, before I got into rabbits, I showed Dalmatians, dogs. I showed in conformation and obedience. I was young. I started in my very early 20s when Doolittle was still an infant. I went to shows and they put her in a playpen, and she was nearby the show ring so I could keep an eye on her. And then, of course, the community, exhibitors, friends, whatever, they all kind of pitched in when I had to run the dog. They would help me out, you know, for a few minutes with her. Not unlike a rabbit show today. You know, the community just kind of helps out. Well, Doolittle grew, and eventually Junior, or not Junior, I don't even know the screen name for our oldest son. I don't know if he has a name. Well, I'm going to call him DD. So DD came along, and I did the same thing. I had, you know, the toddler, I had Doolittle, and then I had DD in the playpen. And it became a chore to take care of two very young children. And I usually showed two dogs. I tried to show a bitch and a dog, one in conformation, and both in obedience usually. So it became a handful, and really the, like the Afghan hounds and the poodle breeders and all these dogs that take literally hours and hours, weeks in advance, grooming, were not very family friendly. And you can't blame them. If you got a very expensive dog with a very expensive grooming, a lot of time and a lot of effort in, and someone's 3-year-old walks by with chocolatey fingers or sticky sucker fingers and rubs it all over their dog, there goes the groom job. So I get it. I do understand. But as a parent that had to travel with her small children, I decided to get something a little more family friendly. And so I looked into rabbits. Rabbits is something small enough that young children can handle. They could show, if they showed an interest in it, they could also be involved. Unfortunately, none of my children were very interested in it, and space was limited anyway, and so it was okay. And so, yeah, I changed over from dog showing into rabbit showing, and now that all the children have grown up, I have considered going back into dog showing again, but you know, I have a rabbit family and a rabbit community and rabbit friends that I've had for years that I can't do both. I can't show rabbits and dogs. Traveling like that is just very expensive, and I couldn't afford two hobbies like that. And not to mention investment to get started on dogs again. Way too expensive. I just couldn't afford to it. But basically, I just, the community and the friends, and the rabbits, of course. I love my rabbits. I'm sure that shows in every video that I do. So that's just what I do now. So yeah, that's how I got started with rabbits. Thanks for watching, and until we speak again, God bless. Oh, and Michelle, send me the email address that you want me to send the Amazon gift card to, please. Thank you.